It's the Fan's 10th Faniversary, and we're celebrating it with you. Today's trip down memory lane.
And rolls on a bootleg coming out. He's wide open. He could run. He's got the first down. But the flag is... They lost the ball. The Colts pick it up on the run with the football. The Colts have got it. Gary Brackett down the sideline. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Gary Brackett.
That should stand up.
3:37 to go. It should.
There's a penalty flag on a 42, but I believe they're going to call Houston for holding, I hope.
Yep, I think holding against Houston. Peyton's already indicated. Now let's see what it's going to be. Let's hear the referee, Tony Correnti.
Holding, offense number 69.
Holding.
This penalty will be declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
68-yard return by Gary Brackett. It's now 27 to 23.
Man. We'll never forget that play. Celebrating 1070 The Fan's Faniversary. 10 years of 1070 The Fan, 10 years of Colts football on the Fan. That was one of the great memories in the last 10 years. I will never forget Twinkle Toes Brackett down the sideline after the helicopter play by Sage Rosenfels. Gary Brackett, number 58, kind enough to join us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. GB, how you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I feel like I'm still winning from that play, man. 4 yards in fourth quarter, man. A lot of running.
There's a lot of running. Oh, that game was one of the and we've been talking all week about kind of the top games in the last 10 years. That's certainly one of them. That was a heck of a performance. What do you remember from that game? A comeback.
Yeah. Now, obviously the comeback. Being down, almost the entire game. And fourth quarter having a chance, to win, and we made it happen, man. Obviously that kind of sparked us. That next series, Robert Mathis, I think, got a sack strip fumble, got us the ball back, and Reggie Waynes, I think, caught like a one hand in the back of the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. So, but that's who we were as a team, man. We never gave up. We always fought to the end.
Where did that come from? Where did that come from? That confidence that no matter the circumstance, that you guys felt like you guys could put together a run to put it away?
You know what? I think at that point, obviously, our offense, we could score so quick. I mean, I don't know if you kind of recap the Tampa Bay game, and that's coming back from the Tampa Bay game. I still got people in my family that think we lost that game on Monday night. But it was games like that earlier on in my career that really just, convinced you that, man, anything can happen, right? It's a 60-minute ball game, and until this thing is over, man, that's right to the end.
So funny about that game. I know that's outside of the 10 years, but I was at the radio station that particular night. I was working a shift, and then I went down to the basement to watch the game. And I think it was after Mike Doss intercepted and fumbled, and Keenan McCardell returned it. I turned the television off, and then I went home. So I went home, and then I turned it on, and then I saw, and then I saw this comeback begin. So I did turn it back on, but I threw the remote after the McCardell play. I threw the remote.
That was typical Dawes. He makes a great play and then gives it back, man. But but I think it was the culture. I mean, that team, 10 years ago, was together for a long period of time, right? And our top key guys were there. And I think that belief system was throughout. I mean, even in practice when we used to battle and it'd be whatever the situation is, we always thought someone was going to be capable of making the play, whether it's the offense, defense, plus the team, and just the type of unit we had and the type of guys we had on that team.
Well, I stayed with you, GB. You know that. Hey, I got to ask you, did you guys ever use as motivation kind of like within the team as maybe being the stepchild because Peyton did get so much attention and it was such an offensive motivated team? Did the defense ever feel slighted?
I'll be lying to say some of them didn't feel slighted, right? I mean, we have some heck of talent on the defensive side of the ball. But at the end of the day, internally, and from Coach Dungy's standpoint and the way he would voice to us, there was never no, come on, defense, you're slacking, the offense is carrying. I mean, that was never the case because, I mean, so many people looked at so many different statistics, but the only thing that mattered, in our opinion, was scoring defense, right? And we were always top 5, or not top 5, top 10 in the scoring defense, and then we're up 21 points, and someone wants to run a draw for 30 yards, right? And they rushed for 200 yards in the game. We won by 21. Like, congratulations, right? But for us, it was just wins and losses, and it was just, being able to get down in the red zone and not give up that touchdown, maybe a field goal. And like I said, playing with the lead a lot, it's just hard for you to be a dominant defense. And that was our challenge, but, we won a lot of games.
2009 was a big topic of discussion this week as we reflect on the last 10 years. And a question that we've asked, and we asked your teammate Melvin Bullitt this question too. We asked him a number of different things. But if you guys had gone 16-0 and then still lost in the Super Bowl to the New Orleans Saints, would the loss sting the exact same way that it does not going 16-0 and then losing that game? Would it sting the same way, or would it feel different?
No, I think it would sting the same way, right? I mean, New England went 16-0 and then they lost the Super Bowl, and no one talks about that season. So for us, it was about winning the championship. I would say, however, if we'd have won against the Jets, we'd have played Buffalo in a flex game, which would have been 8 o'clock at night. And I don't know if you guys went to that Buffalo game, but it was the coldest game in my football career. And I was of the belief that it could not be freezing in snow. I thought like the precipitation would allow the snow was freezing. I was absolutely wrong, and it was 0-degree weather in snow, and it was absolutely miserable. So we avoided that.
All right, there was no at 14-0. There was no conversation that we have been told. There was no conversation really that you would not go for a perfect season. Were you shocked when guys were being substituted in the second half of that Jet game?
Nah, I wasn't shocked at all. I mean, there was. I was a captain, right? So there was conversations about how much we'll play in that Jets game.
Okay.
And that we don't expect to play the whole game. As head coaches, they're never going to say, hey, you're going to play the first quarter and then you're out, right? Because as a player, you want the player to be prepared the whole game, and you never know. But at that point, in my mind, I know we were going to get pulled. I was just hoping that we were up by 14 points and the backups could, sustain that lead. But obviously, I think we might have been down when we got pulled in that game. I don't know. Or it was like extremely close. Whatever it was, I knew we were winning by enough.
You were leading by half, but I think it was only like 3 points. It was a lot tighter than I think a lot of people expected because they were a 500 team and you guys were rolling.
Yeah, it was. Let's see, 15-10, and then came the fumble return for the touchdown.
And that was like the first. That was like the first series, right?
Yeah.
First play.
Damn it! First series with the new unit out there.
Yeah.
And so it was a tight game. From the, I should let Joe set this up because he's the one that framed this to Melvin Bullitt. So Joe, you want to paraphrase what you asked Melvin Bullitt? We'll play Melvin's response.
Basically, GB, I remember the AFC Championship game back in the day where Cordell Stewart runs out of the back of the end zone against Pittsburgh, and Quentin Coryatt dropped an easy interception, and I just told Melvin, because we talked about we weren't able to watch the game. And I don't know if you were able to ever watch the Saints Super Bowl game, but I said it wasn't until like 20 years later when I actually saw one of the greatest games played, kind of a remix thing that they did, that I realized that Quentin was not at fault. The defensive guy the offensive guy receiver just made a good play, and the ball never even got to Q. And so I got a hold of Q right away and said, "Dude, I've been carrying this for a while. I'm sorry." So anyway, I just asked him. I said, "What are your feelings towards Hank Baskett?" And this is what Melvin said.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started, okay? I've never been that kind of guy, but you're gonna throw it out there. That's all I'm gonna say. Damn.
That's all he said.
So I mentioned Hank Baskett. What comes to mind?
So it's a funny story, right? So Hank was with the same agent that I had, Sports Stars out of New York, right? So as is customary, when one of your guys that signed with the same agent go on your team, your agent reach out, hey, this is one of our guys, take care of him. So, hey, Hank, how you doing? So Hank's on the practice squad, and he's running routes, right? So obviously he's running against us. And I'm covering Hank like he's like a tight end, like a big tight end. And I'm like, hey, yo, Hank, you're like you're slow as hell, all right? Hank looks at me, famous last words. I might be slow, but I don't drop anything.
No!
Was drop passes, drop the fumble. That's all he did. So it's just like it's just amazing. Like his words were, "I don't drop anything," and he's most remembered for dropping the ball in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Oh my God! What are your favorite memories of your stretch? With the Colts.
Oh man, a lot of it's not on the field, right? Probably on a plane ride home, just the shenanigans that would go on. But you know what? I just think that was it. Just the comeback victory that we had. I just think the camaraderie that we had, and it just felt like we had so many playmakers. One game Marvin will go off, the next game Edge, the next game Reggie, the next game Freeney, myself, Mathis. It was just so many guys that can, just have an outstanding game. And it was just fun. It was just a real fun team to be around. Guys competed at a high level, and guys brought it. Guys played extremely hard. Guys played injured, and I think we all played for one another. So it was just a real fun team to be around, man. And we just enjoyed the journey.
You are doing, obviously some amazing things in business and doing so many things within the community. But when you find yourself daydreaming or maybe dreaming in general, is there a specific game that you kind of replay in your mind?
You know what, good and bad, right? So just the good is like when we played Pittsburgh in 2005. It was like a primetime game, and we were flying around, we were just on it, man. And then to losing them in the playoffs the way that we did, it really sucks, right? Because that 2005 team was really our best team. You look at how many Hall of Famers are going to be on that team, and even on the defensive side of the ball, we were flying around. And David Thornton, I think, was the best linebacker group that we had. And it just goes to show you. No matter of how good your team is, man, how important chemistry is and how important playing together and timing is, right? I mean, it has to be the right timing. So it's just important, whatever you're doing, just to stay on. Because no matter how good the team is, right, that might not be the team to get you there. And it's just important for you to stay on and kind of continue to coach that culture throughout. And I think although that team wasn't the same in 2005 when we won it, the culture was the same. And I think that's very important of why we were successful for a long period of time. And you look at some teams that are successful now, they got really good culture in place.
Really good stuff, our man Gary Brackett on the Payless Liquors Hotline. What's new? Stack Pickle, the restaurant business. What's new with you before we wrap up?
Yeah, man. So obviously the franchises Stack Pickle out. You learn at buildthepickle.com. But sort of our first two franchises, one in Orlando, one in Houston. Working on a few others. So, yeah, man. So, we're building the pickle, as we like to call it, to grow the brand, man. Trying to become a franchise or. That's the game plan.
That is awesome.
We love to be out there on Tuesdays with Costanzo. We can make something happen, brother.
Hey, man. Let's work it out, brother.
No doubt. Hey, Gary, we always appreciate having you on these airways, my man. And thanks so much for all that you do, in the community and staying in the community and that whole thing, and then giving us your time. Really appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. That's Gary Brackett there on the Payless Liquors Hotline. I didn't think it was possible to trump a Hank Baskett moment, but I think Gary just trumped the moment.
Man, you dropped everything.
Oh, my God. You dropped everything. We're back in a moment.